It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at Noxford. Noxford here is a tiny little card game which sort of plays out like an area control game driven just by cards. You have district cards, you have your own character cards, and you are trying to control the different districts in town while sticking it to your opponents and hoping to come out on top. Let me show you how this works very briefly, then we'll come on back and I'll tell you what I thought of it. To set up the game, we're going to give each player their deck of character cards, well shuffled. Everybody gets their master card. And then you are going to set up 2 district cards out here in this configuration. Shuffle up the rest. And finish the setup by revealing 3 of those. And having each player draw 3 of their own cards. And that's it. The objective of the game is to control the most district cards to get the most points at the end of the game. You are going to do that by having your characters next to the district cards and in a number higher than your opponent's in order to control it. And you're going to get a victory point for each of the districts out there, each of these symbols, as well as 2 bonus points for whichever one is your favorite, which is displayed on your master card right here. So, on your turn, you are going to do one of 2 things. You're going to play a card from your hand, one of your characters, or you are going to play one of the district cards set aside. You will then, once you've done that, replenish to end your turn, either from here if you play one of your own, of course, or reveal a new one into the 3 face-up ones. When you play a card, you have to follow a couple of rules. The first rule is every card played has to touch at least 2 other cards, and you have to follow the lines, at least 2 lines, set by previous cards. So what that means is, in this case, this is a legal move, because I am touching these 2 cards and I'm following that line set by that card, and that line set by that card. This one would be illegal because I'm following 2 lines, that one and this one, but I'm only touching 1 card, and then doing something like this would also be illegal. However, doing something like this would be fine. And so you have to decide how you want to tackle that. The board does sometimes get some funky configurations going on in it. So you play that, you then draw a new card. It is the next player's turn. And again, they could do whatever they want to. They could do something like this from here, or they can play from their own hand. The characters in our decks come in different levels. They sort of have different strengths. The weakest are these little punks, which is what the game calls them, and that card anywhere on the board could be covered up by another player with one that is higher than that character there, which could go right over those. Higher than that one is this character here, and then higher than that one itself would be your master, that you can once per game play them directly over anybody else. They can be covered up. Of course, one master cannot take over another one, so those are set. This is going to continue developing. Some of the cards in the game are gear cards, and they have a symbol in the background, sort of a pattern in the background showing some gears. Here's how these work. Whenever you play one of these, they sometimes come from your own deck. They sometimes will come from this deck, like this one there. You are going to, after playing that card, you'll take 1 card out here and move it to a new location as long as it's a legal play, okay? And so you could do this, and that's it. And this will continue developing until one player has run through all of their characters. Once that happens, we're going to finish out the round, then we're going to score up the game. So let's say this is how the game ends up looking. Now we're going to go ahead and score. The first thing you need to do is these cards, these police cards, they are going to cancel any character card that is next to them. And there's several of them in the deck. So the first thing you do is that you take those cards and you are going to negate them. You can either turn them face down or remove them, whatever. So any character card next to those is gone. And then after that, you go through the district cards themselves, and you see who gets which one, again, from the cards that they have adjacent. So in this case, this card here has one blue, has one green next to it, and that's a tie, so no one would get this. This card here has no one next to it now. This card here has orange next to that, and by the way, the masters here count as 2 points for controlling a card, so that one goes to the orange player. This one here has one master in blue and one master in orange next to it, so no one gets that. This one is going to have a master in blue and an orange card next to it, so the master in blue would get that one. This one is going to be a tie, but this one is going to the blue player as well. And this one looks like it's going to the orange player, and that should be it. I think I'm not missing anything. Once that's all done, you are going to take a look at the cards you took. You are going to take a look at what your favorite thing is, right? And then you score 1 point for every one of these districts. And if your favorite thing is on there, you get a bonus 2 points for that. So for example, if this is the character that ended up with these 3 cards, they are going to receive her favorite. There is the gems. They are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points and 6, 7 for that gem. That would be the final score. Highest score at the end of the game is the winner. I wasn't really sure what to expect out of this one originally. I thought the game looked interesting, but it looked busy, and the card laying system, the sort of free-form idea, it looked a little more fussy than it needed to be, maybe. Like, you know, a little more uniformity would have led to grasping it a little faster, perhaps. But I liked it, you know, more than I thought I would. It plays out in an interesting way. There is a give and take here. There are interesting choices to make in this game. Now, some of those issues I have with the game still hold true. It is a weird card laying game. It is visually difficult to discern what's where. I wish the cards were not so busy because it's just, once everything's laid on the board, and what you saw in the overview, by the way, is not a full layout. But once everything is out, it's just, you know, it makes my eyes go crazy. It's a little too busy for me. So I don't like that so much. But the gameplay, the choices you make when you attack someone, when you play a gear and shift something over there, the fact that you have to be careful you don't split up anything, you know, because you can never move something and split it up. It's not that big a deal, but it's part of the rules. Makes it a clever game. It's not one that I'm going to be singing the praises of from the rooftops, but it is a clever, well-done design that is pretty, but perhaps a little busy, and works well. So I would recommend it if you like quirky card games and you are a fan of area control type mechanisms. So there you have it. That is Noxford.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.